the title. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Daily Live. It is Friday, March the 1st.
Ooh.
It is officially White Rabbit's Day.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Officially?
Ned's done well there. He's got under the camera without doing the humpback thing, which is fair play. Because normally he does struggle to do that.
Yeah.
But, Everton, West Ham, 3 o'clock tomorrow at Goodison Park. Is it a must-win, Ped? That is the question
Every
today.
game's a must-win. Every game's if you're going with an attitude that every game isn't a must-win, then you're a loser. And I don't like losers.
No.
I'm not a fan of the loser mentality.
No. I think that's...
Some people love it. Some people embrace it. Some people bathe in it. I don't bathe in it. I'm not bathing in being a loser. I don't know where this is going.
No,
I feel like I'm actually not on air. I'm just on myself in my own head.
Yeah.
He's psyched up.
Okay.
No, I think we have to start winning games at home, and because the ones that are coming up are the ones that'll get us clear.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so important that we get through this season with everything that's gone on and do it as early as possible to stop, you know, fans having sleepless nights and all the rest of it. And, that's got to start tomorrow,
It's a tough game.
Mm.
It's a tough game, but it's a tough game, but it's a winnable game as well. West Ham have only won once this year. So therefore, you know, they're not exactly in amazing form. Yes, they beat Brentford 4-2 the other night. We know that, but I think like you said yesterday, Brentford still had opportunities and still cut them open, and we've got to just make sure that, I mean, Ned hasn't put it on Premier, which is massively. He has. He has. I don't know why it's so far down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why is... Yeah. Okay. But yeah, let's get out there and put the pressure on West Ham immediately. And I think I said this, maybe I said it in the preview, that there hasn't been that many games where we've come out with a real intensity at Goodison from the first whistle. And I know people might say we haven't got the players or whatever, but I don't really buy into that.
No, I don't.
I think it doesn't matter what set of players you've got. You can get them out with the intensity, do things quickly, get shots away as quickly as you can. You know, put pressure on the opposition, make it uncomfortable. Goodison, you've got to utilise Goodison.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of ground. You've got to make the most of it, get the fans engaged, and if you do that, you put West Ham on the back foot. The worst thing Everton have done of late is allowed the away team to settle in and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we haven't won the games that we've needed to win. So let's get out and let's get out there tomorrow and make it uncomfortable for West Ham. Yeah. And if they're too good at the end of the day, because they play really well and win, then so be it. But let's have a right good go at trying to win the game, not trying to keep it 0-0 and score off a set piece. Because I think that'll just set the tempo the wrong way.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it matters what kind of players you've got. You get out there and you, for the first whatever, you set the tone, and then you try and keep that tone. That's football in a nutshell. You know, I don't buy into this starting slow. Not at home anyway. Away, I understand it, but at home, get out there fast, get the crowd engaged. Said this loads of times. Get them up and keep them up. You know, and the minute you sort of relax and allow the opposition to start getting on the board, that's when Goodison. Some people mightn't like it. Some people might think, oh, the crowd should stay no matter what. But that's just not reality. That's not reality of where we are as a fan base and what we've gone through as a fan base. We need to be kept engaged, and I just find it strange when we don't do that, and it leads to the opposition getting comfortable, and then it just becomes a game where it's almost like a tactical battle then, where I think sometimes I still think in football you can make it more than a tactical battle. I still think emotion's a big thing in football. It's something that can't be, you know, it can't be put on a stats chart. It can't be worked out with an X number in front of it and all that. It's something that's still massive in football, and we've got to do everything we can to push that tomorrow. Yeah,
totally agree, because at the end of the day, need to start winning games of football. We haven't. Doesn't matter. Everything else has gone on, and everything is. It is. It's all. Depression's probably the wrong word, isn't it? But it's It's been a lot of negativity in it. I suppose it is depressing because we've gained 31 points this season, haven't we? But obviously because of the points deduction and the ownership stuff dragging on, everything, it's all been like a lot of negative press this season. But even taking all that to one side, we haven't won a game of football we're in the, last time we won was December the 16th. We're in March. That's why we're in trouble.
Yeah.
If we'd have won 3 of the last 9 games or, whatever, we'd be safe, practically.
Well, it all adds up, doesn't it? I mean, a couple of days ago, I just renewed my season ticket, of course, and, you're going through it, and I'm ticking, the season ticket, that's X amount. Then are you buying this thing, this Goodison thing, where you always feel obliged to, don't you? 75 quid. I'm getting a couple of them for me and my missus.
Why are you getting 2?
Because it's got your name on it and all that.
What?
And of course, I know. You're absolutely right, Baz. I 100% agree. But I just know that it's that thing of like, well, it'd have to have a name on it, of course. And then if I haven't got one, it'd be like, I'll look back in a few years' time and I'll go, oh, why didn't I do that? Would it cost me like about 2 quid a month? It wouldn't. It cost like a tenner a month because I do it. And you know what I mean? And then I've bought the card as well, and the card's a tenner. And again, that's another thing where you could go, so what, it's on your phone, but we all will, because we all want our... Exactly. So we all want our card.
Because I don't trust the thing. I see enough nonsense at the cup games.
No, I know.
The minute that randoms come with bleeding phones and can't get in, so the queue's triple, I ain't taking that gamble for thingy. If I bought, and I don't know, I may well... No, Ned, you've messed it up. Then the humpback whale was back.
Ninja Turtle.
I'll see whether Zach wants a thing. Yeah, I'm not going to buy the pair of us one. I'm just not.
Going to have Zach's name on his, though. Going to have to be Zach's.
If he wants it, he can have it. I'm not. I don't doubt I'm going to get it.
No, I know, but
the thing, what I'm saying is, where do you even store it? Where are you even going to put it? There's 2 in your house. They're just going to be there, aren't they?
Maybe I'll buy another house.
Maybe, just to put your Goodison memorabilia in.
I might bring it in here.
And put it where?
On
just
the shelf?
In a drawer. It won't fit on the shelf.
How big do you think this thing is?
I hope it's about for 75 quid. I hope it's as big as this desk. I was like, my mind.
You buy one. I'll buy one. We'll make a new desk.
Shut up. Maybe, yeah. Well, we do one a bigger desk for the bigger show. I'm open to Place of Beauty. I want it. No, it is everything.
Yeah, so with that, so you've got that. So that's so you've got £75. That's something
on top of the fact it's gone up.
Yeah, you've got a tenner for your card, and you're looking at it and going, and then you get there, you're looking at the money that's coming out your bank, and you're like, 3 wins all season at home.
I've just done it, recorded the latest Inside the Game podcast, and the guest said to me, and it's something we say, but then other people have just kind of forgotten this, I think, or dismissed this, right? And what the guest said to me, former footballer, when you go into that ground, you're going in to be entertained.
Yeah.
That's the reality, is you're going in to be entertained. You're not going in to survive or put up with crap football, really. Yeah. You're supposed to be being entertained. And for too long now, and when I say too long, I'm talking last 3 years, we've just accepted that we're going into that ground to just try and somehow scrape a result with no entertainment. If it's if you're talking draws and wins, 3-3s and 4-3s, and there's a great attack in football, fine, but we have lost sight of that. And then when you add on to that the fact that you don't win very often, there's a new, we're at a new low, and we have to try to raise that.
People forget that. This is rubbish. This is rubbish, and we accept so much rubbish. Like some of the players, I won't name names, but I hear players all the time being talked about as this and about that, and they're frankly not. They're frankly really, really average, very, very average players.
Footballers, that's all.
But you hear this play's amazing and that play's amazing, and you're just like, but they're just not. They're not amazing. But we've accepted that, and we almost just say it almost to, I don't know, in our own heads, it might be a case of, so we don't want to cause negativity or we want to build players up. But in the back of our heads, we truly know that they're not very good players. and they're not the level of players that Everton Football Club should have.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we need again, and there's this thing as well of like when you push expectations, and it's like, why shouldn't we have expectations, and why aren't we allowed to push expectations onto our football club? We're a big, proud football club, and we love telling people how big we are, and yet we accept absolute rubbish. So, you know, I've said this loads of times this week. Standards. It's about people's own standards. If people accept dross and dress it up as something it's not, then it's never going to get any better. And that's when I talk to people and they go, the atmosphere at Goodison's this or whatever, and I go, mate, what do you want? Do you want us all to live in happy fairyland where we all just like, you know, clap the players on and clap the players off no matter what? No, this is the real world. We pay real money to go and watch football that isn't very good. And if we're not seeing more than the bare essentials, which is, you know, people go, as long as you work hard. No, I disagree. I disagree. Every footballer's job is to work hard. I expect more than working hard. So, you know,
working hard is a prerequisite.
It is, exactly.
There should be no footballer should go on that pitch without that intention to run his bollocks off. I've just seen the Blues there saying intensity is just another word for speed, really. It isn't.
No,
it isn't. Not. It's far from. Just another word for speed. Pace is another word for speed. Intensity is doing things quickly. Doesn't have to be running really fast, although that does help. And if it was up to that, we'd be knackered because we've only really got Ben Godfrey that can run really fast. Intensity is speeding everything up, isn't it? Unless you mean speed just by doing, you know, taking the throw in quicker. Get at them quickly. Our players they're not all slow. We just haven't got people who are really fast. But you can still get out and press quickly. You can press as a team. You can unsettle a team quickly. This slow, methodical feel your way into a game doesn't work at Goodison Park. It really doesn't. Again, my guest this morning has talked about the difficulty that you can find players find playing at Everton because you don't realise how big you are till Everton are. The
mad thing is, though, and I genuinely mean this, is that when people talk about these expectations, they're normally quieting down. They're normally the ones who are seen as being the strange people. What do you expect? It's like, I do expect my football club to have certain standards and certain levels, and I believe certain individuals in the last 25 years have tried their best to get rid of those standards, because they can't match those standards.
If the standards are hard and big, then it's, you know what I mean? That's difficult.
And we've created a culture.
There's a measure, then.
Yeah, and we've created a culture out of our football club where we don't have those standards anymore, and that's just the way it is. That's where we are now. Can we ever get those standards back? I don't know, but I just think that for a game like this, or certainly all the home games going forward, I just want to see the shackles come off a little bit, because I mean, you know, if you want to call it pace, intensity, whatever it is, doing things a little bit quicker. Maybe it is picking the ball up and seeing a throw, and the centre forward makes a run instead of going, okay, I'm gone.
Where's the goalie?
And I'll turn around. You do that quickly, and then what happens is the crowd get engaged, and that's what I want to see. Is that forward ball on? Yeah, it is. We'll do it then. Don't wait. Take a touch, go back, wait till we close the down, do a circle, and then pass it to your fullback. If a ball's on, play it. And that's what I want to start seeing at Goodison Park. Everyone reacting quicker. And that's what gets the crowd off the feet. Because otherwise we would just go, here again are we? Oh, great. And I think that's why, you know, a couple of years ago, the crowd started standing up at the Gladys Street almost to preempt that and be ready for that, rather than going, well, we're going to sit down, then we're going to stand up, we're going to sit down. It's like, no, we're standing up for the entire game because we want to feel like it's going to happen. And it did for some games. It did. And it's what got us going. It's what got us victories. And we have to now get that again. And that doesn't mean that, you know, blue flares and all that side of thing. It should just be players play with a bit of intensity. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? That's what you've got to do. You've got to create your own. Got to create your own. The Everton have got to go out, do it, get in, to get into West Ham, and I don't mean like diving in with 2-footed tackles and all that nonsense, because you can't do that no more. But you can get in, press quickly, hurry them up, make it difficult for them, and you'll engage the crowd then. Because let's be honest, everything else we've done hasn't worked. Has it? It hasn't worked, because we would have won more than 3 games at home if it had worked. Yeah. So we're up. It's up to us now. While we can still get ourselves out of this, then let's do it. Let's do it. We win tomorrow. I keep saying it. If we win tomorrow and Villa avoid defeat at Luton and Liverpool avoid defeat at the City ground, which I think they should, then it will have been a really good week, given with the other points back, and you start stretching that gap between the bottom 3 and us, and that's what we have to do. And don't forget, we're going to have a weekend where we don't play as well, and of course Luton play in midweek at Bournemouth as well. So Everton have got to give themselves that distance.
I think it's time,
and also it drags Bournemouth closer as well, and Palace.
I think it's time for the hard luck stories to end now. The points are back. Second thing hasn't happened yet. I think it's time to put all the hard luck stories away, whether it be about points deductions or whether it be about takeovers. I think we have to go and win games of football now, and that's the only thing that matters. We're not gonna get where we want to be by,
already Perrin.
Crying
I didn't
it in.
get where I was.
No, but we're not, are we?
No, we're not.
We're not going to get it anywhere by crying it in as a fan base. We have to now go and win games of football. That's what's sort of been missed in the last couple of months, is that we haven't won games of football, and they've got away with it to in a way, because all eyes have been on getting the points back, and to a lesser extent the takeover. Well, now all eyes are back on the pitch now. That's all that matters. And I'm not saying the manager or the players have ever shied away from that, but that should be our focus now as a fan base. Yeah. You haven't won a game of football since Burnley away in the Premier League. So now it's up to them to go and win games, and the pressure's back on them now. It's not on the lawyers. It's not on Silky. It's not on people saying that's done. There's a line under the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one now, we're probably looking at getting maybe 3 points deducted, another 3 points deducted, maybe, let's say. Well, then that means that we have to be clear +3. Yeah. So that's the job now, and that's on the players, and that's on the manager. And that starts tomorrow.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Mark Jones says we need dynamism, urgency, and if we could pass to each other, that'd be refreshing.
That would. That's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot, yeah. Learn how to pass to each other. GMAC is see all clubs with the 777 involvement are in relegation places and in trouble. Not a good sign. The only reason I've picked this up is it's totally untrue. Genoa are 12th in Serie A, 13 points clear of any relegation, and they're only 8 points off a European place, so they're closer to Europe than they are to relegation. Standard in Belgium is 7 points clear. Yeah, they're having a rubbish season, but they're not in any danger. Hertha Berlin are 8th in their league, 4 points off 5th place. Vasco da Gama, their season hasn't started yet, so they're as close to top as they are to bottom. If you're talking about, I don't know, is it Valencia they're involved with? They've got a 10%, 7% stake, or Seville, which one it is, 7% stake in them, so they don't own them, so I don't know what you really want them to do. And this isn't me talking 777 up either, but let's stick to some facts. They're not all in relegation, that's nonsense. Let's stick to the facts. Doesn't mean 777 are good for Everton, by the way, but let's not just try to use it to create a narrative that isn't real. Mike says, would you a big win? I'm convinced 3-0. God, mate, imagine 3-0. Imagine, I said it loads of times, but imagine like 3-0 at 3:30. Just that West Ham would just switch off like Brentford did the other night, and then the second half's a boring 3-0 win and you finish 3. I mean, imagine it. Imagine sitting there in injury time 3-0 up, just like that. Yawning, and you made up. That'd be incredible. Something we haven't done too often in the last few years. Bournemouth back in October, was it, or late September, when we were 3-0 up in injury time at Goodison. It's an absolute rarity. Newcastle, we put the game to bed in injury time at Beto, didn't we? So we just need to win. We just need to get over the line. But you know what? After this season, this has to be the end of it. It has to be the end of it. Of this. This is how we look at football, and this is how bad it is, and we don't win many games. Celtic Vape says disagree, but football's a way of life more important than entertainment. It's not, though, is it? Where's that narrative come from? Football's a way of life. You don't need to be entertained. What's, like, why are you going there? Entertainment has got to be at the core of it. You haven't got to do it. Have you? You haven't got to do it. It's not work. You haven't got to go to football to stay alive. Not oxygen, is it? You haven't got to do it. Otherwise you can't feed your family. So I couldn't disagree more than that. It's entertainment is what it is there for. The whole idea of it, the whole reason football spouted up was to give people some entertainment after working all week on a Saturday afternoon. So you might turn around and say, I'm not bothered whether I'm entertained. Why is what is it then? The entertainment in scoring a goal and celebrating, isn't that the entertainment?
Do you have standards in your life? I mean, whether you want to call it entertainment, whether you want to call it a way of life, I still will sit here and say it's all about standards. And
if I said to you, now, I guarantee you, the next 25 years you go to watch Everton, it's going to be horrendous every year, right? They'll stay up, they'll finish 17th for the next 20 years. But every game will be absolutely awful, and they'll score off a set piece every now and again. But they'll survive every year. Will that guarantee you going for the next 25 years with any kind of excitement?
The funny thing about it is because we're football fans, we would choose to believe that even if someone told us it was going to happen, that it wasn't going to happen.
Well, because you're hoping for that entertainment that leads to a bit of success. You're not hoping to go to something shite for 25 years and win 1-0 off a corner. That's not football. Well, I kind of agree with Martinez there. It's parasite football. That bit. Doesn't mean you should discount set piece goals. Me, but that's the thing.
Saying it's just a way of life, and I'm not is missing the fundamental point of. Don't we all deserve? Not that, I mean, deserve mightn't be the right word, but just I don't think. It's not a case of thinking we deserve to win something. It's a case of saying that as a football club, this club has adhered to standards all through its history. And those standards are no longer there. And the only people who can get those standards back or demand those standards back are the fan base. And yet we don't. We don't demand them back because we just go along from one disaster to the next, when we should at least be saying, I want the team on the pitch to come out and do what they're supposed to do. And if that's not like the basic thing, if we're just going to sit there and go, I'm not asked, I just turn up no matter what, then what's the point? What is the point in the football club existing? You've got to have standards. It's so important to keep the standards up. And as I said, that's what we've let slip. And this is something we have to... And I think Sean Dyche, to his credit, is someone who is trying to create standards at the football club. I think the minute he walked in and said, no snoods and you play or train with your socks up and all that kind of thing, I think that's creating standards straight away of what he's asking from the first team. And I think he has created standards in the first team, but I think those standards have to go wider now into the whole club. And after, you have to look at it as in the whole club. And that's where we do need to get to take over sorted, because we don't have a board and we don't have a CEO and we don't really have an owner at the moment. So therefore it's like everyone's just in the lifeboat at the moment. Just instead of getting to A to B via a big boat, you're getting there via the lifeboats because you have to jump out the big boat. So to me, I can't be passive. I never will be passive. If I was passive, I would never have, never started doing this kind of thing, because what is the point? What is the point? And if you just got to demand something at least, haven't we? And I hate that. I hate the thing that we go to match and people go, what do people want? Or what are you moaning at and all this? It's like, behave yourselves.
Robert says on the super chat, thanks Robert, says how much do you think it's cost per win the last 3 seasons in terms of tickets? That'll tell you how bad it's been. Thanks for getting us through it all, lads. Yeah, I don't want to work that out, Robert, to be honest. I just want us to win some home games. The Blue says, I watch Everton because I feel like I need to, not for enjoyment. No, I know, but you're hoping that you're going to enjoy it, aren't you? That's the thing.
That. I fully get that.
I watched Everton with Walter Smith. I watched 6 centre-backs playing in a team that didn't really have any goals in it. Our right-back was a centre-forward for 7 games because we had no strikers. But you're hoping that
still
things
hoping and
get better.
Expecting,
you're hoping for goals. You're hoping you're gonna enjoy yourself, aren't you?
Don't switch off on the 90th minute when you've been beaten or you just conceded against Brighton and go, oh well. You feel terrible, don't you? You feel terrible to that. So that tells me that it is more than what you do. It affects your mood. So therefore, it isn't just a thing of, oh well, we've been beaten. Like, if you go to pictures and walk out and it's a film.
No, but I think people, or a couple of people, because Matt says, isn't your other channel called More Than a Game? Yeah, but you're missing the point. I haven't said it doesn't matter the result as long as I'm entertained. Everton get beat 4-3 every week. It's great. Yeah. I haven't said that, have I? You're totally and utterly missing the point. But accepting that you go to... The other channel's called More Than a Game, right? Because it's all about not Everton.
Yeah, it should be called More Than Everton.
Yeah, really, that would be better. Because if every football match that I watch was like what Everton churn out, I wouldn't watch football. I've been it. Only I watch other football that's far more entertaining. I watched the Copa del Rey last night. That was 100 times more entertaining than any Everton game this season.
No, I think...
Fact. I watch MLS every week because it's miles better than what I watch at Goodison Park. Miles better. But it's also zero emotion to it either that I don't get at Goodison.
But the thing about it is, though, I think, you're both right in a way, because you don't watch football to be entertained, as in... The end result is all you care about at the end of the day.
Yeah, but there's got to be an entertainment value.
But I think if you watched Everton win 19 games at home a season and the football was rubbish, you'd be like, well... You'd
get through it, but at some stage you would moan about it.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't think I would worry.
Why did Sam Allardyce get binned? Then Everton were 8th. And Everton would never have been in any trouble ever since if he'd have been the manager.
Well, Everton wanted to move away from that, didn't they?
No, why though?
Because they wanted to move away from
but away
because
from
there's
what?
a better way of playing football, and there's more success could be had.
So there you go.
So
Man City aren't the best team in the world for looking for corners, goals off corners.
No, but also they play the best football in the world in terms of, but it's not for everybody. That's just the way we all
entertainment value.
No, but we all want to be entertained differently. You wouldn't sit through some of the TV and films I sit through.
No.
It's a different entertainment. I watch certain things, you watch certain things. But I think the end of the day is you don't want to be entertained and be beaten. That's what I'm saying. You have standards and you walk in and you demand certain standards. And on some days, those standards might see you get beat and you go, you know what, we did everything we can today. And there might be some days where you win games and you go to yourself, I mean, we won, but that was tough to watch, that, wasn't it? And that's football for you. But I think ultimately...
Hang on. Emma, what are you talking about? Literally, what are you talking about? Your way of life, making a living. But what a stupid comment to make. I can talk about whether I'm entertained and what the value is. And by the way, making things like gated communities. What you say, this is how you get in a gated. What the fucking hell is that? Pardon my French, and my dad will bollock me for that.
It is.
Utter nonsense. And for information purposes, I still don't earn anywhere near the money I earned in social services, by the way. So there you go. So that's just nonsense. I can make... And what are you saying? You will watch Everton. You would be happy with Everton being crap for years then? Or is there any kind in your mind, any kind of thing of entertainment? Because football is about entertaining. Of course it's a way of life. Of course it is. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't go to theatre every week if it was crap. And yet I watch Everton and I pay for my season ticket and for me lads and have done since the year dot of going every year. I'm going up and down the country watching them. And I've seen us win. one trophy in 30 years. Right? So all of that is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Of course, I'm hooked. Right? I would love nothing better than to go out of here and not give Everton a second thought till I walk back in. On a match day when Brighton scored, do what you said and go, oh, well. But it doesn't. It's ruined my whole week because of that. Because Tarkowski didn't just mark the best header of the ball. So, of course, it's a way of life. But the reality has got to be there should be some kind of entertainment value. I should look forward like anybody should be walking down Goodison Road, Bullens Road, wherever tomorrow, walking through Stanley Park, wherever you're coming from, driving from London, wherever, and going, I can't wait to watch us today. Yeah. It doesn't matter about... let's remember, right, football is about winning at the end of the day, right? It's about winning trophies, really. We should all be going... kicking off because Everton aren't going to win the league, but we're not. We've been dumbed down, and some people are now going, it's acceptable to finish 17th. What a job Sean's done, or whatever. But all of us should be holding the club to standards of trying to win trophies. We've all thrown that in the bin. I've thrown it in the bin recently. I'm now saying I'd love to just go to half a dozen games at Goodison where we win 3 or 4-0 a season, and if we don't win a trophy, but at least I've had a nice day out where I've watched my team. I would love to go to Goodison and watch exciting players. Now, that might never translate to Everton winning a trophy. It mightn't even translate to us finishing top 4 or whatever, but I would love to sit there and go, I love it when he gets the ball because he gets me excited. Nobody in that team, when they pick the ball up, I get off my seat for. Nobody, because there isn't an exciting player there. Doesn't mean they're not hard working. Doesn't mean they're not good football, good at what they do. Oh, Nana's a great prospect. Jared Brantwaite's great. Don't get on me edge of my seat when Brantwaite gets it. I would love to have, attacking players who are exciting to watch, even if Everton were 8th or 9th. Like Palace. I've got like Eze and Elise, and I'm not saying they're better than Everton because I don't think they are, but those two players are at least exciting when they get the ball. We don't have any of that. We have none of it. Everton are bottom of the shot conversion rate. 8% conversion rate we've got from our shots. 8%. Absolute nonsense. It's nonsense.
And we're told to love it. Or we're told to applaud it.
Jarrod Bowen has scored more Premier League goals than Everton have got goals in open play this season. One player. So, I'm sorry, when I'm saying there's got to be some sort of entertainment value, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, if you said to me now, would you win 15 home games next season by grinding it out but winning them? Or would you lose 10 home games next season, but we get beat 5-3 and we play great? Of course I'm going to say, no, give me the wins. But I still want that entertainment value.
There is an excitement and there is an entertainment in if there's a where you play that wins you games of football.
Of course. The excitement and the entertainment is scoring the goal,
of course,
isn't it?
So it's not about saying, I want to play. We sat through Martinez and it was garbage.
I hated it.
It was garbage because it was trying to pass the ball around 100 times at the back, drawing people onto you and then trying to go. Entertainment. One man's entertainment is another man's misery. In terms of football. Entertainment is, like you just said, walking into a ground and going, look at the best example I would say is Atletico Madrid. They're the best example of it, right? The football they play isn't great, and I know this is off the back of them getting spanked last night.
And by the way, we might be boss tomorrow. And I hope we are.
But the point being is that their football isn't great. But what he's done is created a culture at their football club where they're all in it together. And in the final third, they have got exciting players. But he's created a culture of, we're all in this together. He's heart and soul, emotion. And he's won them leagues. I think he's won them Europa League. He's got them in the top 4 every year playing in the Champions League. They've won the league over their rivals, who's supposed to be the biggest club in the world. And I've seen loads of people go, oh, you won't put up you've said before you'd love him to be your manager. I would love him because he's a winner. Because he's a winner. He doesn't dumb anything down and go.
But he still has attack and
that's what I'm saying. He has. It's a bit of a negative way of playing. But in the final third, it does open up. But he's a winner. And his ethos is this will win games of football, enough games of football to get us a trophy or the Champions League. And maybe that's not everyone's cup of tea, you know, when he'll come to go to places. I mean, God help anyone who gets them in a two-legged game because of the way he plays. He strangles teams, and we saw that at Anfield a few years ago.
But they still scored 2 at Anfield.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He put a stranglehold on them, and then when they went away, they got 3, didn't he? And when they went away, they scored those goals. And people might turn and go, I don't like this, but when you're in it, when that's part of your DNA, when everyone's in it together and you build this club culture, everybody loves it. And it's why
I was going to say
Moyes, why people love Moyes, why we still look back and have fond memories of Moyes. We've said this loads of times. I was talking to a West Ham fan last night, did a preview with him, and we talking about him getting sacked, and I was like, I can't tell you how to feel. But I tell you what, the way football's going now, the fact that you're still in Europe, the fact that you've just won a trophy, the fact that you're ticking along nicely tells me that he's a good coach. And I said there's a lot of people that next season, if a chance arises, would have Moyes back because he makes them feel safe and he makes them feel like the club are going in the right direction. Now, I'm not saying that to everybody. I understand that. But there are certain managers, when we had Moyes, we felt safe. We felt like he was taking the club in the right direction. And no matter what happened, we would be all right, and we'd have chances of going deep into cups where, you know, you do want to win it, but going deep into cups and having exciting players because he's got a great eye for a player. I remember people then and people afterwards going, like, and we said that ourselves, that he dumbed us down a little bit, but when you look at where we are now, God, it was almost like he knew what was coming in football rather than anything else. And yeah, I mean, listen, I understand there's different ways of looking at it. Entertainment is a very broad word. It can mean
maybe I didn't mention.
Yeah, it can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. As I said, you could sit through a TV show and I could go, this is not for me, and there's loads of stuff I'd sit through. Entertainment is, but I think the one thing you want that togetherness where everybody's together. And the one thing I see on social media, or maybe on this, is about Sean Dyche, and I think that he's like, you'll make a comment about the football or whatever, and people will jump on you straight away and throw you all the stats of how better it's been under him. And then the flip side will be, people will go, well, we haven't won a game for 2.5 months. And there's so much like in that where it should be like, we should all be in this together. Our football club should be all in this together. But we've been pulled apart by what's happened in the last 8 years, certainly the last 4 years or 3 years. We've been absolutely dragged apart as a fan base when we should be together. And I think that's what, going to a manager, the manager is the thing that's supposed to unite us. If there's one thing at a football club, there'll be players on the pitch that we all love. We're all united. We all love Branthwaite. We all love Branthwaite, don't we?
Yeah.
But he can't unite us as a fan base. Only the manager can unite you as a fan base. So you can tolerate a certain way of... You mentioned Allardyce before. Perfect example. The football wasn't great.
No.
But he won games.
Yeah.
But his attitude towards the fans stunk. He had an arrogance about him, which if he could have put aside and and come together with the fan base, he could have got easily another year. And yet Benitez, I think, did try and do that. He tried to come over to us as a fan base and try and go, listen, I know I'm an ex-Liverpool, blah, 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 I've said things, blah, blah, blah. But the stuff on the pitch just wasn't anywhere near good enough for those ties. And I'm not saying this is not down to Sean Dyche. He's just doing a job. But I made a comment last week about always feeling like Sean Dyche is living out of a suitcase at this football club. And I reiterate that. And I believe that's because the football club is in such a stupid position with the ownership and not having a CEO and not having a board that are supposed to have his back, that the manager at times feels like he's like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going at this football club. I really don't. Okay, fair play to you. You've been getting stupid, that's all right. I put it down to the Ned's camera angle. Yeah. You know, we pulled out a little bit, which, I mean, has been said. I put it down to the football club just being so... in such a mess.
Oh, it is. It's in a mess, of course.
That we're fractured. Of course we are. We're massively fractured. You've got people have been we're talking about like the situation with the points going as a fan base. Have we become too needy? Are we going over the top? Have we become too precious with this? Every time something happens, the Premier League are corrupt. You know, the takeover has split the fan base in terms of some people don't want, some people do want, some people just want it over and done with. You know, we're a club fractured, and I do feel sorry for Sean Dyche because I do feel like he's desperately trying to pull all the pieces together. But that's really difficult when it's like one man, and everyone at this football club has got to. It's got to get sorted. It's got to get sorted sooner or later, because I just feel like we are massively fractured at the moment, and it's not been playing out in a way that it's like we're at each other's throat or anything, but it's an underlying thing. You can feel it that we're not a club. We're not whole as a football club, and that you can feel that when you go to the match.
It won't be either. It won't be until you get a manager who can unite the fans, and this one hasn't been able to do it.
But I do think there's circumstances why he hasn't. I don't put that down to him. So
I just don't accept people saying there's no end to, it's just the way it is and you've got to get it. I don't accept that, because things can always be better.
The way I look at it is, and this is just my point of view, is I look at a game like last week and I just think to myself, or certainly maybe the Palace game is more of an appropriate one. People go, this is the way it is, this is the way we play. I think we can play better and still do a bit of that. I think if you've got an Onana on the pitch, you instantly play better. You instantly have more of the ball, which you're going to have a Goodison anyway. Brighton away, slightly different because of the way they play. You're not going to have as much ball. But at home, when you know you're going to have more than the ball, you need someone in centre midfield who can play the ball. And that's where I am a little bit at odds with Sean Dyche. Now, he might go, oh, it was injuries, blah, blah, blah. Fair play if he came and said that. He doesn't say that, though. He's not said that publicly. So I can't say, well, he did say it's because of an injury. Now Onana might have an injury, but he didn't say that before. And why he's sitting on the bench. I think we can play better. I think having Onana on the pitch opens the pitch up for the team. And I'd rather take a few risks than having two holding centre midfielders.
We could play. We could. Not saying Sean Dyche could be a version of Simeone. There's no issue with that. Dave, like we just said before, David Moyes, his MO really was negative, defensive. But he had really attacking players as well, which meant it was a good mix. Now, for some people, they would want more creativity, or, more flair than that, whatever. But it was fine because we had good quality in the final third at Everton. That's where Everton haven't got good quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got good, hard-working players, but we need better. There's no problem with that. But I'm talking about, for me, there has to be an entertainment value of at least throwing everything at it, trying to win at Goodison. The entertainment, like I've said before, is in the goals. Yeah, I want to go to match and enjoy watching players play for my team, and it doesn't mean they have to be £100 million players because there's lots of very good footballers around Europe. Our recruitment has been poor. End of story. I've just seen Joe Thomas tweet this morning saying Kevin Thelwell 2 years at the club. What have you thought? Well, I'm still waiting for him to get me an attacking player from Europe for Buttons, who's really good. He's got all the stuff there. Go and do it then, because this summer's going to be a huge summer for him. If he remains in the job, we'll see. But that's on him to go and do it. But that's where we are, and that's where I am. Doesn't mean I'm all sunshine and flowers, and everyone's got to, you've got to come and have 1,000 passes per game. We're not Man City. It's not how I wouldn't really I'd appreciate the trophies, of course. But my entertainment is trying to score goals and win games. And I don't accept you just take that's it forever. It's just the way it is. And it's a way of life, so get used to it. You've got to do it. To me, that's a nonsense.
That one comment.
There you go.
Sparked it.
I know, yeah.
Good stuff. That's what we like.
That's good. That's what you want. That's what I like.
Emma coming in with the jabs in the...
Emma can come in with the jabs. It is what it is. They're inaccurate, but you can come in with them all day.
They missed your kidneys.
Didn't get anywhere near it.
Fair play.
Luke says, Baz speaking true facts. Nice one.
Would you have him now as your manager?
Simeone every day of the week. But I know that he would. What he would say is, we're from a negative base, or Sorry, see, that's even wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Negative, because there's a skill in defending.
Yeah, of course
isn't
there is.
there? So,
And there's a skill in those black suits.
black suits are unbelievable. Giving it all, grabbing his ball. Imagine Pawson's the fourth official, and Everton score a goal, and he turns around and grabs
the great sadness is, and I think this is a great sadness for everybody, is we'll never see Klopp in a Liverpool dugout and Simeone in an Everton dugout going at it with each other. See, that would be beautiful. I still think you'll see it, because I think Klopp will end up at Real Madrid. So, no, I do.
I'll no red to be watching.
No, I do. He's going. Give some monkeys. He's going.
He will fume if you put him at another club.
I think Klopp is going to Real Madrid eventually. Okay. I just think he is. I think he's one of the two best managers in the world, and the other one ain't going to Real Madrid. So he's going to Real Madrid at some point.
Okay.
But I would love to have seen Simeone giving it all that to him at Anfield, and him coming over, giving it a chest. But for us, though.
Yeah, for us, God.
That's one of the great... that's one of the great things that has been missed. And that's what it should be about.
We could have got Simeone.
That's what it should be about. Remember when we absolutely destroyed Liverpool heads when we put on that Everton News Daily title?
He come out, though, and said he considered it. So, I mean, really, we should have gone, well, all right, we offered you 10 million, you have 15 million a year then.
Imagine, think of the money that we've wasted. Like, this is the thing with, like, Carlo, right? When people are like, oh, the money you give to someone like Carlo, or, like, this is what Man United are doing now with Ashworth. It's like, you give him the money. Like, Carlo, you give him the money, and it's just, it didn't work, obviously, because of COVID. Do you know what I mean? Because that's your manager. Look at the money he's saving. I've seen a few people talking about James Rodriguez last night going, why did we... Like, well, he's on £200,000 a week, lads. That's probably why. Mm-hmm. But like a manager like Carlo or a manager like Simeone, imagine the money they'd save you in just knowing exactly what they want, having all the experience.
I mean, you wouldn't have to sack 8 other managers then and all the staff, would
exactly.
You? If you'd have gone all in.
These fellas...
If Everton would have given him the money at the time, no, and gone, well, what about, say they offered him 10 million, what about 12.5? Yeah. Diego, would you take it? And he might have gone, he might have still stayed, but he might have gone, yeah, go ahead then, I'll have a go.
Look at Villa.
He's going to go somewhere,
Do you think Villa are sitting there going, God, maybe we shouldn't have given Emery all that money and allowed him to take over the club and bring in Monchi as the director of football? Do we think that's a good idea? No, they're sitting there going, lads, we're on the way to the Champions League. He's paying for himself. Down, dumb down, accept.
But this is why I want this takeover stuff resolved one way or the other. Because if these aren't having it,
we're bringing him in.
Because he's coming in. Because, no, what I mean is, this is the bigger point for me, is that we need people... Like John Van says, unfortunately, people's expectations are so low. He was brought up on 69, 70, loved the mid-80s. Yeah. We've had okay, but most have been average players, especially if, you're right, John. But if someone come in now, whether it be 777 or someone else, we need someone to come in and go, the way you've been doing stuff is not conducive to a football club, so we're going to start driving a different aim. Listen, I would love someone to come in and said this yesterday to, I think it was John and me, and you've had this many times. I want someone to come in and go, Mark Cuban, to go, my aim is to put Everton top of the pile, this club top of the... Now, we might never get there because football might have just gone too far now.
Can we just try and get to base camp?
No, but you don't, but your aim, like Neville Southall said it in the past, hasn't he? You know, aim for number 1, and if you end up at number 3... Well, guess what? It's miles better than where we are right now. If we all continue to go, I accept going a match and watching shite because that's as good as we can get now. They're my standards or whatever. And it's because, I understand it's because you've been beaten down. I get that. No one's got up and gone, I decide now to want Everton to be 13th in the league, and that's as good as I want it to ever. Of course, we all want Everton to win. But we need people in our club saying Everton need to win.
That's what's happened. And
not us. We're just reacting to the...
I'll reiterate that more.
Shawnee calls it the Bill Kenwright.
Well, it is the dirty word. Didn't want to say it, but it is the dirty word.
No, I'm only using the Kenwright.
It is the dirty word. The dirty word is that gentleman destroyed the standards of this football club, and that's just the truth. Doesn't matter what anyone says, that's just the truth. He put his own standards in there, and the standards were nowhere near. Baz has said it for years. It's like, No one at the football club wants Everton to be number one. No, one of the reasons why is because it's full of Reds. There's loads of people who work there who are Reds. Yeah. The people who work at Everton don't believe. No, it's not that they don't want it to be, but there's not a need for it to be the biggest club. We've said it's always been too chummy, too many people in there patting each other's back, terrified that they'll lose their jobs when someone comes in and says, you know what, this will be a better idea if we do this. And they go, you can't do that. And because 3 or 4 of them gang up and go, this fella might take our job off us, none of them want to, and that happens with the chief executive, by the way. The chief executive is so part of the dumbing down because they understand that they're not capable of taking Everton to the next level. And I feel for Moshiri in a way, only slightly, because I think he thought he could do that. But then he surrounded himself with these yes men who were wouldn't challenge him because they knew that they were going to have a cushy ride while he were there. Allow him to take you so far and then move it on to the next thing. But there's no culture at Everton of wanting to win, wanting to get the best person in. The only time in my eyes that's happened under Moshiri is getting Carlo in. Yeah. And that's why I reiterate my love for Carlo, is because I think he looked at it and just went, yeah, this is great. And he just basically went, lads, you play there, you play there, you play there, see we win games.
I still maintain if the Ukraine invasion doesn't happen, then Carlo may well not have gone. Or if he did, we certainly wouldn't be where we are because that we wouldn't have lost the big.
Well, of course, I mean, we'll never know because obviously losing that money and him not being able to come in Carlo would have gone, I can't buy no one, I've got to sell him, and Real Madrid want me. That's Real Madrid coming in is the number.
Oh, he was always going anyway.
Is the number one thing, isn't it?
Course, yeah.
But that's the only time for me he's ever gone, I'm getting the best here. I'm actually, this the chance to get the best, and I'm getting the best. But what he should have done is got the best on day one. The minute he sacked Martinez, he should have known who he wanted and already had it boxed off. Yeah. I was watching that Sunderland documentary again the other night, and it was when they sacked the other lad. And they were like, oh, we must have someone coming in, and they didn't. And I thought, that's a culture of chaos, that. And we've had that at our club, that culture of you sack someone and you haven't already got someone lined up. How many times have we done that?
We sat here in that summer when he got Benitez for a month. You know, and it was a terrible choice. Terrible choice.
We were putting Ted Lasso on bloody thumbnails because no one had a clue who's going to be our manager.
He would have been all right.
And it was just mad. It was mad. But that's, I think, I'm not having a go, by the way. There's not a go at Dyche. Of course it's not. He's walked into a club and
into a club that's on fire.
Yeah, he's walked into a club on fire and he's just got a bucket. Yeah. And he's trying his best. But in terms of standards, and I would reiterate this, they have been blown up. Literally, there's now rubble on the floor.
We've got to get to the summer and give Sean Dyche some attacking options, pace and that, and let him build the structure. Is defensive structure, but give him some players at the top end of the pitch who've got real pace about them, who can open up a team, and someone who can create chances or get another striker who can score if these two can't. It's up to them to get better. But I'm saying we don't have to say that's it and accept that that's just the way it is. There should be a demand to be entertained, and what I mean by entertained is we should sit there at Goodison knowing we're going to at least attack and be on the front foot. It might not work, but you should go in thinking we're going to have a right good go. Because you know what? Every year under Moyes, most home games, I'd go in and know we were going to have a right good go at it. And
I can't reiterate, right, how much I love the Moyes years, because it coincided with my 20s, basically. Meeting my wife, going the Winslow disco after every home game, having the time of my life at away games. It was just brilliant, and you can't untwine those memories. No. So I remember going to my first away game with my missus, and it was when we drew 2-2 with Bolton, and Alan Stubbs scored. We smashed one in, and it was just like memories like that. You know, all these things that intertwine with each other, and like all these.
What's shite about that is we still didn't win that game. I know. You're saying it's a great away game.
We conceded in the last minute.
The end, didn't we?
As time goes by, you look back at those memories and how you.
Lying.
What was that?
He's going 20s. He did. It was.
No, because actually I used to go to games in my 20s.
It was Gaza.
I used to go. Gaza scored his only goal for Everton, so to be there, see Alan Strutt smash one in against his old club.
We went to that bowling alley after that because you can't leave Bolton's car park, so we went out the bevy.
I had the high-vis in the back of my car, so I used to just throw it on and then get out. An hour
to get out the river, or the tough sheets. So
I loved it. Like they were, for me, that all intertwined with each other. We won games at home. It all felt great. We had good players. We had some of these, this fella, and eventually we had this fella, and it was just
Rooney, and we had all
of that. Brilliant. It was just and the Rooney era was just that couple of years having the best player in the world playing for your football team, and everyone looking at him and everyone talking about him. When you just, it's just great.
I just want them back, and that isn't even winning anything.
That wasn't even winning anything.
That's what I'm talking about. RM says dire, isn't it? Baz, spot on. Our football's really bland and hard to get excited about. I'd rather have a go at some good young prospects, attacking players, and take a gamble. Definitely, mate. The Blues says Simeone wouldn't win things at us, though. No, but you know what?
But why? Hang on.
But the other thing, the person I've just had in today said to me, big Evertonian, said, you're right, things aren't great at the moment. He said, but always remember, Ned will back me up on this, you're only one good window away from turning into a much better team. And if you do that over a couple of windows, all of a sudden, look at West Ham. You've just mentioned them. Yeah. West Ham, really that good? No disrespect. I'm not being disrespectful to them, but I look at them and I go, they're all right. But they've got Jared Bowen, who's really good. They've got Kudus, who's having a really good season. He's a good player. We know he's a good player. And, if Anthony if Ten Hag wouldn't have just flapped it on Anthony, we'd have Kudus. They've got Paqueta, who's a good player, right? But Everton, with the points, would be 8 points behind them, I think, right? Without attacking players. And West Ham have, in the last 3 years, have been in the Europa League twice and have won the Europa Conference League. So that tells you, therefore, you are really one good window away from being a competitive team at the other end of the pit, if you get your recruitment right. And that doesn't mean Everton couldn't do something like that.
Just going back, right? Simeone, let's just say, we're just using an example. If he came to Everton, right, not saying he'd go out and win the trophies, but what I'm saying is someone like that has such high standards that he raises the whole club. He expects more out of the... I spoke about this week, and I know it's dirty to talk about Liverpool. Klopp came in and just rose the expectations, and that's why the academy's so good now. He made everyone in that club have to work harder and be better and get better people in the role. That's what we're talking about. You start going the match, you have better football, you win more, people feel better. How many people, when Everton win a game, the first thing they do is go, wow, I might buy a top, or I might go to the club shop, or might buy something off Toffee TV shop, or whatever, or whoever else's shops they might want to buy from. And suddenly, there's more money coming into the club. We've got a new stadium soon. Imagine going the match, right, and enjoying going the match because you know what you're going to... So you get down there in our area, you spend money with Everton, so suddenly the coffers are a little bit better. And before you know it, you have bought a couple of players, and before you know it, you might qualify for the Europa Conference. And before you know it, you might win the Europa Conference like West Ham did, and maybe Villa will this season.
They will.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about going from where we are right now and winning the FA Cup or winning the Premier League. But you've got to have expectations of your own football club. I was just going to say before, I remember being at the Luton game early on this season, and we were getting beat, and my dad was going mad. No, my dad's 72 this year, and he's watched the 70 team. He's watched the 85 team. He was in Rotterdam. He's got certain levels that he expects, and he was proper kicking off, and some fella turned around and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And my dad just went, it's fucking Luton. He went, this is Everton. And the fella just looked at him as in like, he was like, he expects us here. We're getting beat at home by Luton. And there's too much of this. There's too much of this goes on.
Luton that had just come up. Not Luton who might be in 3 years' time, who've stayed up and built better players. Just a championship side.
Luton shouldn't be beating Everton at Goodison Park on any day of the week. I don't care who they are. This is another thing. You're not allowed to say that now. Fulham at the beginning of the season getting beat.
Yeah.
It's Fulham. I'm sorry, it's Fulham. They are nothing compared to Everton Football Club. They shouldn't be coming to Goodison Park. Never mind once, but twice in a row and beating us. But people are just like, people just go, oh, Luton have beaten us twice at Goodison, and people just go, oh, whatever.
What you expect?
What you expect? It's fucking Luton. And my dad just turned around, and this fella just couldn't turn around quick enough. I thought my dad was going to rip him in half, and he's nearly 72. But because he's used to watching good football teams and teams fight. And all, and there's too much of this has gone on at our football club where people just go, "Oh, what do you expect?" No, I can expect my football team, and I'm sorry if I have high standards. I really do. I'm sorry if I have high standards, and I'm sorry if sometimes I come off as miserable because people go, "Oh, the other day I put a tweet out going when we got 4 points back, and I went, nothing to celebrate. We got another one. Are you all right? Are you feeling all right? Do you need a day off?" I was like, "What are you on about? We haven't won for 2.5 months just because we got 4 points back. Big deal." We've got another one to face. Too many people are like, "Oh, what do you expect?" Fucking hell, mate. This is Everton Football Club, and I expect more. I expect so much more. We're moving in to an amazing stadium, which apparently has cost us £800 million. That's what I expect from my football club. I expect that. And I expect the team to go into that stadium and have something about it. Not what I see at the moment. And I think all of us have to start like having that expectation. Otherwise, where does it end?
We're the standard bearers.
Yeah.
Don't forget, if we give it up, if we sort of go, well, it's done now, and we're just a mid-table, lower table team, and they're the standards, then why should anyone who takes over have any different standards? Why? We've got a whole, like, listen, Liverpool, whatever you think of them, right, and most of us can't abide them, can we, because of the way they are. But their fans just don't accept it. They just will not accept a lowering of their standards. When they had Hodgson, they got him out after 4 months because they hated it. Yeah. So he was gone. You know, they didn't like them owners. They freaking bounced them down the road, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? They cry arse over every decision that goes against them, but they've got the standards. And Evertonians had a high standard for a number of years, and it has been eroded. And I understand it because I find myself now going, I'd love us to get in the Europa League, the Conference League. What a disgraceful thing for me that has always expected Everton to be trying to fight to win the league. Now to go, God, we got in the Europa League. That'd be brilliant for us. No, our standard should be trying to win the Premier League. We might not get there, but that should be the standards. So we all have to keep that. And I understand for a lot of people, a lot of lads who might be watching this, who are like 30, I'll be like, and like Ned over there, Ned's never seen Everton win a trophy. So,
but I'd like to think what we talk, it rubs off on
Ned should be going, but hang on, we have won the league title the 4th most times. Man City have won it, dominated it for years, and have only now just equalled the amount of times we've won it. So we have to have that belief that we can get back there. We might never, but we have to have a belief and a demand for things to get better. If we just start going, it's just the way we are now, we're done, then why should any owner come in and want to do any better? Then why shouldn't we erode into Crystal Palace without being disrespectful to Palace? But a lot of their fans would never say we want to win. They want to win the Premier League, but would never go, we should be challenging for the league, or we should be challenging for the top 4. They hope that they'd get there one day. But you have to have standard bearers at your football club, and it has to be us.
Exactly.
Because nobody else cares.
And by the way, knowing people go...
And I'm not saying it now. I'm not saying Dice better have us in the Champions League. I'm not saying that.
But this is where it leads, though. This is where it leads when people do go, oh, you've got to be respectful about Fulham and Luton and all. No, you don't. These clubs mean nothing to me. They mean absolutely nothing to me. They mean nothing. I grew up with
nothing.
Everton Football Club going after, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, then Chelsea have come along. They're the ones I look at. The minute you start going, oh, you got to give Luton a bit of respect. No, you fucking don't.
Wow.
No, but you don't, though.
They've done brilliantly. Rob Edwards is brilliant.
They've done brilliantly, but what I'm talking about is in terms of... Conor Cody was in the other week, and he said, people come into our club, and the club, and they can't believe how big it is. how big this football club, it's an institution. We're always going on about Newcastle fans and disrespecting us, or when people of clubs like Leicester or Palace or whoever wants to start a rivalry with us, and we're always like, what the fuck are you? And I just see too much of this, of like, we dumb down our football club so much because of where it is, rather than holding it to the standard that it should be held at. That's my issue. That's my problem. That's where I will never be able. I can look at the situation and go, do I think Everton will win a trophy in my lifetime? Probably not. There's a chance, but that's different from going should I accept what we've become as a football club? Never. I will never accept what we've become as a football club. I really won't. I will never accept it. And the reason why is, I'll tell you why. Because if we did get someone in like a good board and a good manager, then I honestly believe we could get back. And that's the difference. See, that's the difference between these clubs. The difference is our club, where we are as on a footing, whether you call it sleeping giant. I truly believe that if we got a manager who had unbelievable standards, that I do believe we can get back into the fold. I believe that. Someone like a Luton or a Fulham will never be that. Will never, and that's the difference. See, that's not disrespecting them. They've done unbelievable. But they never get into that level. Whereas I still believe we can get to that level if we have the right people in charge and we have a manager who just looks at it and goes, this is a huge
and
club.
the fan base has to drive. We have to drive that, though. We saw it with how good the 1878 did with the coach welcomes and all that. That was the fans taking ownership and going. I remember sitting in here on this and saying that season, we're going to have to drag this team out of trouble because they can't do it themselves. And then the 1878 ran with it brilliantly and organised it, and Ev Katie, Hanner and all of them, they all got, and they done an incredible job. And we dragged the team over the line, and then they almost done it. Well, they did do it again last year in a different way, and it really helped. So we can drag teams forward. We can do that. We just need people in the inside helping it.
And that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is our ceiling is obviously higher than a lot of other football clubs, just because of our fan base for us. Your fan base drives everything. Your fan base drives everything. This idea that you're like, I know, Newcastle, they've not won anything, but their fan base pushes them along and asks for more all the time, and they wanted Ashley out, and they have
But they probably will win something eventually.
No, that's what I'm saying, but it's the fan base that drives your football club. If you've got clubs who have small fan bases, they might have a couple of years here and there where they get a bit of success, right? But they can't keep that going. They can't maintain that. They can't push it along. It's your fan base that pushes it along, and ours is still big enough and should have enough drive that we can get back there if we have people at our football club who actually believe that. And for too many years, this whole L4 bollocks is nonsense.
Well,
the other club in the city look to the world. We look at him. We're the kings of L4. We're not even the kings of L4.
Well, we're not now, but that's what we thought we were.
And all this nonsense.
We were all that. More fans go to the game in a ratio, with a radius of 5 miles and all
that nonsense.
They didn't care, though. They went after the money.
They're the ones who've got all the billboards in town. They've got the one with the shop.
But they're the ones who've got all the trophy.
Yeah, they're the ones who've got all the trophies. The shop's always full in town. There's people always around their stadium, no matter when it is. You go to Goodison, there's tumbleweeds. People, it's locked up. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Well, hopefully that'll change.
Hopefully that'll change. But that comes from us. That's all we're saying.
The Blues, no, I didn't say it's not like it's my job. I was replying to someone and I said to them, it's not like it's a job to be an Evertonian, is it? I didn't say it wasn't my job. Quite clearly it is my job. I said it's not a job to just go, oh, it's a way of life. I can't get out of it. We're going to be terrible. I can't expect any entertainment. That's the way it is. That was my point. And if Emma was replying to that, fine, but I didn't say that, did I? I was saying it's not like it's, or if I said it, I was meaning for Evertonians. It's not like it's a job. Anyway, it doesn't need carrying on, does it? That was my point. I think I've made my point. Rondon the Legend says, loved the passion, Ped and Baz. I think we're all passionate, aren't we? We're all passionate. That's why we have the stuff in the. That's why people are in the comments going this or that. Everyone's passionate. That's why you're here watching us talk about it. The passion is there. We see it. I mean, you're having it. Not enough you've hit the like button or subscribe, but that's up to you. Richard, next week. It is next Thursday. I think it's getting recorded. So we'll see. Rich also says, spot on, lads, although looking at the names on the back of the shirt, it shows how far we've got to drag ourselves back to relevance. Respect to the best goalie of all time, Big Nev. Yeah, we've got to listen. All we're saying is, and this is born out of just saying we've got to start winning home games. God, we've dragged that bloody out just from that. Is that we all have to have standards. One window can turn a football club. Everton, even with points deductions, currently are a mid-table team. If you take the points deduction away, rather, we've got 31 points with a centre forward that hasn't scored for 20 games. A backup centre forward that's got one Premier League goal. Even with that, Everton are mid-table on points won.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not beyond the realms of fantasy to say if Everton had one good window, they could climb up and be pushing for the European spot, and then that changes the dynamic again. Not saying.
Well,
all of a sudden,
look at Wolves.
We're playing amazing.
Look at Wolves. Wolves could get Europe this year.
Some West Ham fan come on our preview and went, oh, you need to get them other points back. It's nonsense. Yeah. And from what I hope you do us a favour for Europe. Wolves were with us, over when they battered us 3-0 in December. We could have got right by them.
Wolves, there was a real fear about Wolves at the beginning of the season. Gary O'Neill's come in. He's done a good job. They've been beaten a few times, but they're in 9th place, right? So they are 1 point behind West Ham. 8th place could get you Europe this season. If the Champions League goes to 5th, and then 6, 7, 8 to Europa League. If the cup's won by someone in the top 5 or top 6, whatever it is, you could have 8th place. West Ham, Wolves, West Ham, Newcastle. Fulham even with an outside chance, but quite far off. But certainly Wolves could get Europe this season. Wolves are, as we speak, would be the 7 points better off than what we should have. But that shows, what a magnificent job, an unexpected job that he's done, and they could get Europe this year. So that shows you. And once you get in that trophy is. Every Premier League team should be looking to win that, and then you're in the Europa League, and you're getting more money through the.
And that's a way, isn't it? That's like a way to tip-top over to 3 or 4 or 5 clubs, isn't it? Immediately, or cut a couple of years off your development. That's the way it is. That's all we're saying. But we have to demand standards as the fans now. All right, this year, listen, it's a shit show. We've had outside influences. We're in the midst of or not of a takeover. It's wherever it is. We need to just get a line under the sand here. Draw a line in the sand, line under the sand. We wouldn't be able to see the line if it was under the sand, would you? Draw a line in the sand, get to the summer, still be in the Premier League, and then look forward, moving forward. We have to do that by winning home games, and tomorrow is a tough game, but it's a winnable game, and Everton have to be looking to win it. Alex, just quickly race through these Premier comments. Alex says, did you see the tweets from an account at Jason_Solo, which calculated our losses for 22-23 to be around 38.5 million? Sorry if this is being covered. Seems to make sense given the report from the appeal discussing our losses from the previous periods. 13.5. Not sure how we could lose so much in 22-23. I think what it is, Alex, is what we're led to believe is that financial year was the first year without USM sponsorship, which was 30 million, I think. So Everton did claw a little bit of it back, but it makes sense that it would go on top. Now Everton have made further improvements in that for 23-24, so it would get better from July the 1st, which is what we've always been told. This summer things improve, so maybe that's right. I don't know, I've not seen that, but yeah, possibly. But I think that's the reason why. And I did say something inaccurate before. I said Carlo went because the Ukraine. What I meant that summer was, Carlo was going because of Real Madrid. Summer of 22, Usmanov was apparently going to take a minority stakeholder officially in Everton Football Club, which would have guaranteed more money and all that. Carlo left because of Real Madrid, but obviously we knew that we couldn't spend any money that summer, which is why Rafa Benitez was given £1.5 million to spend in that summer. Steve said, Ped, I don't agree when you said the reason we don't sign Pace is because of money. Didn't we do that yesterday? Yeah, we said that yesterday, Steve. I think we did. We agreed. I think what Ped was saying was top class players with that pace is out of our reach, but yeah, we could buy. I did read this out yesterday, mate. But we agreed with you. Bob says the game on Saturday is a win-at-all-cost game. However, they're very similar to us in that they find it incredibly hard to come from behind, so we must score first. Yeah. Well, isn't it still like 71% or 72% if you get the first goal in the Premier League, you win the game or something like that? Everton we haven't come from behind to win, have we? So we need the first goal. Steve says I might be alone, but I do cringe in those training videos when they've got the attackers doing finishing drills with no one trying to tackle them. It's just them on their own with all the time in the world. People wonder why they're so bad in front of goal. Should have a centre-back on them every time they do that, so it becomes natural to them in the game. Otherwise, they're just trying to get muscle memory there of just finishing and finishing and finishing. Josh says, afternoon, lads, do you two have any idea where you want to sit when it comes time to move to the stadium? I want to be comparable to where I am now, but I know that it'll probably be a little bit more to the side. I'm probably in this east stand, so the stand closest to the road, so the south stand will be on my left rather than being on the other side. So, yeah, on the side. And you want to be in the south stand, don't you? Jonathan says, if Onana and Ghana are out, would you try Godfrey in centre midfield?
No.
He'll play Decore, won't he? He'll move Decore back, Jonathan, I imagine. But I think Onana will play. Gary Wall said, the win is a win and I'll take it, but 5-0 win is a lot more fun. Yeah, agree. Patrick Ridge, hello Patrick, says, how do teams generally win trophies and games? They play better football, and by proxy that's more entertainment. There's a reason the elite game has moved on. Better doesn't mean to have to try and be like Man City. It simply means going out to win games and adapting your style as time progresses to ensure it doesn't go stale. Absolutely agree. And that's what I'm saying about entertainment. The entertainment is in the goal scoring a good goal. The other bits of football, I actually like fast and frenetic football, to be honest, rather than Pep's football. And I think that was what I was brought up on. The 80s had a great mix of battling, scrapping for everything, and then having players like Kevin Sheedy and Trevor Steven and two good attackers. Your fullbacks on the overlap. Football hasn't changed that much. But I like that. Evertonians seem to like that at Goodison. But we have gone to the point where we don't really attack at home because we're more worried about the opposition. And I think those shackles have to come off. Otherwise, we won't win the home games we need to, in my opinion. Stan says, all right, lads, our team is slow in every way. The players lack physical pace, but mental awareness too. They're slow. They don't see the forward ball. They don't see the through ball. They're a team of almost good enough players signed from relegated teams or reserves. What are we doing on the coaching side? Not a lot from the looks of it, especially attacking wise and forward thinking. I think defensively there's a lot put into it, and you can see that, and it's been good. They're the fourth best defence in the league, aren't they? Offensively was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Totally agree with you about our standards, says Steve Guy. Don't care what anyone says. Ken Wright started the rot, gaslit the whole generation into accepting mediocrity. Stan says, Ped, totally agree regarding other clubs. I couldn't give a damn what happens to any of them. I'm not interested. Okay. Brian, big red flag to me. You made a throwaway comment about too many reds at the club. Not asked if we succeed. Will these be weeded out when a takeover takes over? Don't know. Who knows, mate? Dick L in the comments on a Friday. Dick says, Dyche has one win in 10 games. Baz, you once said Frank Rafa, the managers, cannot survive that type of third one in 14. We are so wrapped up in point deductions and takeover talks, we're overlooking the incredible bad form of our current manager. Okay. Well, if he's at 1 in 14, then yeah, I think the question should be asked. Dick also says, P.S. Just got back from watching Dune Part 2. Really good, but not as good as Dune Part 1.
Fair play to you.
Brian says, I remember before your time in the 70s, Barker and Dobson, sweet sellers in red coats, walking around the touchline in red coats. My dad complained to the club and got it stopped. Standards, eh?
Standards.
Will the Malays carry on or set in knowing Luton can't make any headway to us? It would suit a lot of the happy fan base. And Stan says, last one, says, lads, I was lucky enough to see us win everything as a teenager. It was amazing. 3 brothers and dads are Reds. I could argue the toss with them all the time with head held high. Now they're laughing at us the same as everyone else. We're a disgrace. Deitch has improved things, but by the fact it's in our heads. But I'd let him go tomorrow for a forward-thinking, ambitious manager who believes winning is the be-all and end-all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fair play.
Just before we go, congratulations to Julia Bold. The Everton Nothing But The Same podcast has been nominated for
Nothing Will Be The Same.
British Sports Journalism Awards 2023 for Podcast of the Year.
Outstanding. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant listen if you haven't listened to it. It's a tremendous one. So, and M says, how refreshing is this? The lads are actually talking about footy for the first time in ages. Definitely. Right, we'll be on More Than a Game at 2:45, 15 minutes. The link's there. If you want to listen to us chat about everyone else, come and get involved over there. And AU, be good. Sophie, last comment, says, love Julia. She's fab. Here. See you in a bit.
Bye.